So I bought a Happybuy Chinese diesel air heater. Got a lot of projects going on in here. This thing's a wreck. In any case, I got this guy off Amazon. The only ones I ever knew of were built by SBAR, and they're like $1,000. So I've wanted one for years. Never been able to get one because they were just too expensive. And then I found these guys online. They sell them in 3,000 watt, 5,000 watt, 8,000 watt. The 5,000 watt can come with a 3-inch outlet or 4 separate 1.5-inch outlets, depending on how you want to duct it up. You can buy it in the completely enclosed case, or you can buy it with the separate parts where you're not getting it in a case. You can get the tank separate from the furnace itself. I'm going to open it up. Give you guys a little peek. Alright. Okay. Tank's got an Audi symbol on it. No idea why. Don't know if they're getting those from Audi or not. But in any case, it's got the furnace unit, fuel tank, obviously, fuel pump, outlet, thermostat, controller. Go over that in a second. Power. Positive and negative, simple hookup. I've just done it temporary right now. Brings in air right here. Obviously blows it out there. In any case, this is the 8 kilowatt. The reason I got it's obviously because I'm in not a fully insulated, quite a large, long, tall Sprinter here. It's the big guy. But in any case, this heater doesn't do too bad. You know, it takes a while to pull this thing up when it's cold. If I come in here when it's 20 degrees, it's going to be a half an hour to an hour before it's, you know, decently comfortable, and it takes a while for it to idle down. But once it's, you know, got everything heat saturated and idles down, it does pretty well. I would not recommend for a van this size, or for a van in general, to go less than the 8 kilowatt. It's going to be running its butt off. They run a lot more efficiently when they're down and idle, so, you know, having it down at idle as often as possible is going to be best for you. If you got too small of a heater that's running balls to the wall all the time, it's not going to be as efficient. In any case, this guy has, I've already bolted it down to the floor, but it has an inlet, or an air inlet. It's got a little filter that isn't even really a filter. It's just kind of like a canister with a piece of screen sitting inside of it that makes sure no large chunks make it up in the burn canister. Underneath here, what I did was I cut a 3-inch hole in the floor. It is a 1-inch exhaust pipe. I took some galvanized and cut a 1 1/4-inch hole in it, and stuck the galvanized over and under, so it's underneath the vehicle, which you'll see in a second, and obviously over top of the floor here. It sucks in, or it, you know, blows out its exhaust, obviously there, and then sucks in its cold air. You can kind of see its hose a little bit just hanging down here, right here. And it also takes its fuel between those underneath there as well. In any case, it isn't too loud. It pulls 11 to 12 amps when the glow plug is on for the first couple minutes that it's running. Once it's running, it pulls approximately 5 amps. Idled down, I don't know how many amps it pulls idled down. I haven't checked. Let me think here. Okay, so stuff to know. It's very cheap, $217 for the 8 kilowatt. Comes in a box. All you got to do is, you know, the first time I ran it, I just stuck its exhaust pipe on, let it sit up on 2 buckets, a bucket underneath here and a bucket underneath there, and it was open underneath the middle area here. I had it sitting up back at the back of the van, and just hooked it onto a battery, turned it on. You know, it does its own thing. In any case, thermostat here is a decent setup. Let me see if I can get it a little bit brighter. It'll tell us the temperature inside the vehicle currently, the temperature that the thermostat's set to, how many volts we got in the battery system, how many meters of elevation we got so it can adjust its burn as necessary, and then if there are any error codes, which there are currently none, This guy here is the little fuel pump symbol. When it's running, that changes color. It has a little symbol that shows up right in this little, bit here in the top left when the glow plug is on. And then down here, it'll have 1 through 6 of its temperature. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that when I touch it. It'll have 1 through 6 of its temperature. It'll have 2 greens, 2 yellows, 2 reds. And when it's idling or when it's running, it stays either at 5 or 6. I've never seen it idling less than a 5, so it'll give you 1 red. The air doesn't really get good and hot until it gets up into that red. In any case, you can also set the time on it, and you can set it to where it turns on a timer. When you turn it on and leave it run, it will run indefinitely. I ran it out of fuel; it wouldn't shut itself off. So I don't know if, I'm not sure if it would have eventually realized it just had absolutely no fuel and would have shut off or what, but it was just sucking on fumes, and I could smell it like it was lighting and losing its light. Like, you'll smell it when it first lights. It just makes a little bit of an odor that goes, just a burning odor that goes, a fuel burning odor that goes away after it's ran for a little, or for, 30 seconds. I mean, it's done after that. And I kind of was getting that smell back a little bit before I came to check it to find out that it was out of fuel. So it's probably flaming in and out, but it wasn't shutting itself off. So I am going to end up running it down to the fuel tank inside the vehicle to avoid any possibility of running it out of fuel in the future. And then also, if I did at that time want to remove the casing and make it a smaller, simpler setup, not having to have the tank there anymore, I could do that. So that may be something that happens. I'm not 100% sure, but it's not a bad idea. In any case, like I said, super simple to install. You're going to have to drill a hole in your floor. You're going to have to, some people draw in cool air from outside. I don't recommend it. You don't know what kind of crap is getting up underneath your car to get inside this filter. Bugs, things that's going to suck in dust, things chewing on it, bugs crawling in it. It's not, no. And then another thing too is if the burn chamber is pulling air from outside, it's colder than inside, so you're kind of working against the temperature that your burn chamber needs to be at optimal efficiency. So I'd recommend just pulling your air from inside. They build the case to be able to pull the air from inside. You can just send the inlet out the back, so you don't got to send out the bottom of the car, and then you don't got to drill so many holes in your car. I'm going to get up under here and show you guys what it's like under... Oop, falling over. What it's like under here. Alright, so there's the hole. It's got a little bit of an air gap. I'm still trying to figure out something I can close that air gap with that'll, keep bugs out and crap like that, but that isn't gonna transfer heat, catch on fire, melt, stink, whatever. Not sure yet. If any of you guys have a recommendation, please let me know. It has a little muffler. This muffler does make a difference. A lot of people say in the reviews, oh, you can look right through the muffler. Well, you can look right through the muffler, but the muffler is a properly set up resonator, and it works quite well. This thing sounds like the dryer vent outside of your house when your dryer is going on full blast. It can get quite loud. It's if you don't know what you're listening for, you're kind of like, what in the world is that? That's a different sound. But in any case, I just screwed it up here for now. What I plan on doing is buying a 25-foot roll of 1 inch off of Amazon. It's like $37, and then I'm going to send the exhaust forward and up to the engine compartment, so that way when this thing is running overnight, the heater, the engine compartment stays warm and assists with cold starts. The previous owner broke some glow plugs out the head, so poor guy has a little trouble when it gets cold. In any case, these Sprinters from the factory came with a diesel coolant heater, and it draws from right there. So this is from the factory. The pump and the line that it draws from, it's probably scary what kind of crap is sitting in there. I don't know if it gets nasty like gas does or not, but I'm going to find out. But in any case, these things actually have an S-bar. I don't know if it's made by S-bar, but an S-bar type coolant heater in them from the factory to assist the engine with keeping the coolant warm. It helps warm the engine up, but it also sends straight warm coolant into the heater or the heater core, so that way you can get some heat out of this thing before it's actually hot. It takes forever to warm up, but that's your common diesel anyway. In any case, I'm going to end up cutting off right here. Well, not right, well, right here is where, right? I'm going to end up cutting off right here where the two meet, and putting my own hose over top of this hose and clamping it on, bringing it back, and probably over top this neck, and sending it up into a separate hole that I'm going to drill probably around, probably in the back, or in the, I don't know, in the front, the back, and I'm going to have it start drawing fuel from this tank, so I don't have to worry about it anymore, and so it doesn't run out of fuel, and so I don't have to worry about flame outs when I'm not there and it might be running, and etc. So in any case, that is your Happybuy Chinese diesel air heater. I would highly recommend. I've used it quite a bit. It works really great. It's been reliable. I can leave it running. I don't have to babysit it. It does what it's supposed to. And it's very, very well worth the money compared to the ones that you're going to buy from S-Bar or the company that starts with a W. I have no idea. I'll remember as soon as I quit the video. But in any case, the professional ones that sell for $1,000, if you're on a budget and you're not worried about it, I definitely recommend just going this route. I don't know what it's going to do as far as long-term reliability. I'm going to buy a second one just to have it on standby just in case, because you never know. But I'll do an update video maybe in 6 months or a year, or if something goes wrong, and detail what happened, if anything.